All right, what's going on, everybody? Been away for a little bit. That's due to me doing something wrong on YouTube, I guess. Sharing my thoughts a little bit too much. So, little probation period is done. We'll share my screen with you. We'll get on with the myths for 2021. And again, brought to you from examine.com. So, let's go on to myth number 5. I think is where we left off. So red meat is bad for you. False, right? They claim that red meat causes cardiovascular disease, maybe too much cholesterol due to the cholesterol content within red meat. But again, let's look at the sample studies that they even take. The participants typically having pre-exposed conditions to cardiovascular disease, diabetic, low levels of activity. Maybe they don't eat a variety of fruits and vegetables on top of that, or enough fiber. Maybe they have chronically elevated blood pressure already that they're not doing anything about, or they have genetically higher cholesterol. We don't want to get rid of cholesterol all the way because cholesterol is a precursor hormone, right? So it can make other hormones in the body. It can help strength. It can help with arterial health. It can help with the brain, right? It can help with a lot of different things. However, I would only avoid red meat maybe if it really does make you sick, like feel terrible. If you have the rare disease where you can't metabolize the amino acid profile within the red meat, or if it's against your religion, or you want to be vegetarian or vegan for ethical reasons, right? To each their own, okay? And I would just, say that I've done the whole like red meat diet, not whole carnivore. I think that's kind of extreme. I don't think you need to be extreme on anything, but at least eating one small serving of red meat can definitely be a lifesaver for getting adequate amounts of nutrition, because it is filled with your essential fatty acids and essential amino acids. So at least trying to get like 4 ounces maybe throughout the day. And you can do like, an ounce of organ meat from cow, and do like 3 ounces of beef. You kind of blend it together, and you can make a beef patty, or ground beef, whatever you want to do. Sure, there's recipes out there for you. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be talking about the lifestyle, about healthy eating and healthy habits. I think that's going to be a higher priority in the fitness industry, at least it should be. And let's not be biased on this, because we are running into issues with this pandemic ending now, and we're seeing some mistakes maybe that the CDC passed over, which is how obese or how unhealthy we are, the consumptions of our foods, processed foods and such, high palatability foods, yada yada yada. Right, so that's what we're talking about today. So that was myth number 5. I'm going to start combining some of these myths because there are so many, and I have a lot of other topics that I want to talk about, a lot of other videos, and I just want to get through some of these because these are general ideas of consumers, right? So we want to bust through these. Salt is bad for you. I highly disagree with that. Whenever you combine high amounts of salt, or high amounts of sodium, high amounts of sugar, and high amounts of fat, aka fast food, highly palatable food, chips and such, yeah, that's going to be bad. And then you also have a low activity lifestyle or non-activity lifestyle. Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster. Okay, so that's like driving blind. Cool. Good luck with that. So sodium, I particularly love sodium. I need it. I need it for energy levels to regulate the rest of my electrolytes within the body, because if you start lowering your sodium down to what doctors recommended back in the 1950s, the American Heart and Dietetics Association, American Heart Association, they claimed that 2,500 milligrams of sodium a day was perfect, right? No more, no less, unless you are on, I retract that. Sodium could be bad, a high amounts of it, if you have a high GFR number, dialysis, kidney issues, or maybe aneurysms and such, okay? High risk of those, right? There might be some genetic polymorphisms. However, let's say for the average person, you're feeling lethargic. Well, cool. Let's keep our, let's not go straight to caffeine for that boost of energy or those gimmicks that you see online. That would be like, hey, this is energy in a bottle. This is energy in a powder. Let's look at the ratio of our electrolytes. So if we decrease our sodium, then our other electrolytes, potassium, calcium, magnesium, they will be filtered through the body and kind of get disposed of, metabolized. And because it needs a certain ratio, concentration of sodium within the body. So now we start depleting other like potassium and such. And then we may get cramps, may get lethargic, things like that. And people say, oh, we got to take potassium. No, well, you probably just need to increase your sodium, right? Sodium will be lowered in the body if you continually drink just water without replenishing your sodium intake through adding salt or just foods that are higher in sodium. So the more water you drink, the more you're going to urinate, and the more sodium leaves the body, right? The more you sweat, the more sodium leaves the body. The more you work out, your muscles need to contract, get a nice pump, which is why you see Himalayan pink salts or all these, what is it? There's like some like sodium blends and hydration blends now that I know like Galaxon uses. I think Inspired Nutrition or Inspired, I'm not sure what they're called. This brand right over here. Oh, got my face in there. This brand, they use, I think it's like Aquium or something. Acrium, I don't know. Anyways, sodium helps, right? The myth is that, you know, excessive salt causes hypertension, you know, high blood pressure, kidney damage, and cognitive decline. However, again, like I'm saying, it's not just sodium, it's all these other variables that you're putting into your body and all these other physical activities that you're not doing. So on to the next one, number 7, bread is bad for you. If you are allergic or you have celiac to gluten, that's wheat gluten or any other type of gluten, because rice technically is gluten as well. Gluten is just a protein that can help bind things, right? So anyways, the manufacturing process and how it breaks down wheat can cause some of these, man, I forgot what they actually are. But anyways, it increases the risk of like people having an allergic reaction or a histamine or intolerance to this. Yeah, I wish I can remember the name. But okay, like, so my kid, he's allergic to wheat gluten, and that will cause him to have a tummy ache, and he won't want to eat. So that's not good if the young kid won't eat, right? So we try to stay away from wheat gluten here in the house, but we still eat gluten from rice. Bread is not bad. We still use gluten-free bread. It has sugars in it still because it's made with like tapioca sugars, tapioca flour. So things like that, okay? We do white bread or brown rice bread, right? It doesn't matter. You should never just avoid bread because the person that is telling you that they stopped eating bread, they started losing weight, their blood markers started getting better, they started getting sensitivity with their insulin. Well, yeah, it's because you eliminated some food from your diet, and then now you're eating less calories, and maybe you're able to increase the intake of vegetables and proteins, and now you feel better. Your body's actually getting more nutrition rather than just some Wonder Bread. And again, what do you know what bread they're talking about? You know, you have Dave's Killer Bread, whatever it's called, and then you have Wonder Bread. Like, which one's going to pack a little bit better nutrition content, more fiber and such, right? It's going to be something that's sprouted bread, right? So it's going to be better. And who doesn't like sandwiches? Who doesn't like grilled cheese sandwiches? No, I don't know. There's some people that can't live without their eggs and toast. Mark Lobeiner, right? Talks about it all the time. What I would just recommend is bread. If bread isn't for you, then find another carbohydrate source. But they're mainly telling you don't eat bread because it has carbs, and carbs cause you to be fat, which is false. Bread is just another vessel for food. and energy. You can switch that with anything that you like. Don't think that bread's bad. I mean, shoot, people are replacing bread with, or gluten-free. People are buying gluten-free bread, thinking that it's better than whole wheat bread, which it's, if they're not even intolerant to wheat gluten, or if they are non-celiac, they just have this perception that, oh, if I eat gluten, I will gain weight. Well, their stomach might be a little inflamed, okay? But you're losing, but then they go and they replace it with the gluten-free bread. I mean, it just has the same amount of carbohydrates in it. And actually it might be even faster, spiking blood glucose if taken by itself, which I don't know the last time you just had a piece of bread without anything else. So technically, I'd rather go with the wheat bread if I was just eating toast by itself and nothing else, if I wanted to maintain a more level blood sugar level, right, within the body. Okay, that's just my opinion. That's the way that my body works. I've gone off bread and gluten, and I've went back on it, and guess what? I don't do well with bread too much, so I don't really eat it. But yeah, you don't, it doesn't matter. Myth number 8, high fructose corn syrup is far worse than sugar. I don't know about that, man. I mean, this is debatable, but the problem is that whenever one thing has high fructose corn syrup, you're typically also combining it with something else like canola oils or seed oils or some other type of pro-inflammatory issue. And it might be also in highly palatable food. And also you might be over consuming food in general, and you might have a lower activity level. Now, all those things come into play. And so now, because something had high fructose corn syrup, is deemed bad because of all these other variables that were involved in this product that had high fructose corn syrup. They don't even account for them, because studies, like we like to do, we like to isolate one thing and then look at what it's caused, like, you know, correlation equals causation, or causation equals correlation, right? So again, they're not taking into account all the variables. They're just isolating one thing and then saying, oh, hey, this person got fat because of high fructose corn syrup, not everything else. So I think we'll end it right there. But anyways, these are the few myths: 8, 7, 6, and 5. Okay, so those are the myths that we just hit today. And again, you see how everything's kind of in balance. You can have these things in balance and having a physical activities throughout the day. That's what's going to help manage the weight. That's what's going to help manage the mental mental energy. Okay, reduce mental fatigue, help improve overall parameters of health. We're going to leave it there today. Kids just popped in, so I'm trying to get my screen back up. Stopping sharing. All right, guys, like, comment, subscribe down below, down here, and link for anything else that is involved with me, with Chemix, with my consulting, with IG on fit.dad.lifestyle, anything else in the description through the link tree. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.